Welcome back. Last time I investigated Lemuria. This time I will be investigating the Island of Treasure and the Eastern Sea. This little inlet that I'm sitting on consists of the two idiots who looted the entire Island of Treasure I'm on my way to. I've decided to use speed a little bit less in this episode, if I can call them episodes. This is where I am. This is the Island of Treasure in question. It's surrounded by craggy rocks all over the outside. Right at the top there is an entrance to get inside of it. I don't know exactly what boat these two guys were using to get onto that island, because I can't see one from where I'm standing. But they did manage to get a lot of the treasure out. Not really sure if I should be speeding past the fights as well. But if it turns out that there's a particular synergy I want to show off, then I'll slow it down a bit. Once I get tired of how slow everything is, I'll start speeding up again. For now, I'm trying to keep to my pacing, keep everything at a reasonable speed rather than the breakneck pace I've been working with the last 10 videos. So this is the entrance I was referring to. You just swim all the way around the edge. You will get there eventually. So I did find out that I had Odyssey in the last fight. I figured this would be a good time to show it off. Odyssey is my favorite one-hit attack. And you actually learn it for your main character. Whatever you try to call him. Straight ice to foe. Ragnarok is the primary single attack that your main character learns. It is much stronger than most of your other synergy, is considering to balance it out. If it attacks one enemy, it deals a lot of damage. Odyssey is the strongest version of that attack. I have tested it, and I haven't found anything stronger. So, for some reason, the only chests that have any treasure in them, these two, are the only two chests behind a cave wall that didn't have an obstacle. See? Completely empty. It's implied that the two statues on the outside of these cave walls were in front of them to begin with, and then the two idiots from earlier pushed it out of the way in order to get at these chests. So as you can see, I've already grown tired of the fight, so I'm going to be speeding through them again until I learn new synergy I want to show off. There is never anything in those chests, by the way. It was very kind of those idiots to close the chests afterward, but frankly, they could have left me some more treasure than nothing. The lucky medal is pretty much useless to me. So this here is the thing that they couldn't get past, and exactly why I needed grind. Oh, Lemuria's fountain is what I meant. So you don't want to destroy the one on top, you'll want the one on the right here. The one on top you want to keep for the future. I'll skip the introduction. The reason for that is when you come down from the top there, right there, you can see it. What you need to do is keep this grindstone in place. Because if you don't keep it in place, you're going to have to press the button again, grind another thing, then go all the way around. But you're actually going to come back here later. Just as a demonstration. They make it look like you can jump through here. But you're actually going to come down from above, push this stone out of the way, come around here, climb up the one ladder, jump over the now pumped up grindstone like so. Let me take out these enemies. killed. Once you pop over there, then you can collect those 6 chests on the side. They give you some decent materials that you can take to Sunny, or I forget his name, and Sunny will make you some nice items out of it. The main one you get out of it is a silk feather, or sylph feather. It gives a decent light sword. So what you don't want to do is push it directly onto the red button. You want to just get it into a position so you can use your synergy to push the stone onto the red button with move. That way you don't have to grind this down and push it back onto the red button. It saves you a bit of time. Now, unfortunately, silly me, I have not pushed it onto the stone. So now if you go back. During this audio recording, I'm not watching anything on the side, so there's nothing for me to link you to. I'm actually hoping you went to check out that person, considering you've now finished watching Avatar without me. The one miscalculation I made when coming into this place, the first time, is in sections like this. They give you 3 options to grind down, and you have to choose the correct one so that you can use the other 2 as stepping stones later. I made a very similar mistake in the Yampi Desert in one of my previous videos. You can link that one up here. And there were a few pound stones that you had to knock into the ground. You had to knock them in such a way that when you went up the ladder at the background, you could use it to investigate a Jupiter Djinn. But if you did it incorrectly, there was no way to get to the Djinn, because there were not enough pound stones standing upright that you could jump upon them. There's no need for me to use this Jester's Omelette. It gives me a little bit of a boost in defense, but not enough to justify the loss of attack. Since my current playstyle primarily focuses on just using melee attacks over and over and over again, it doesn't make sense to sacrifice that for a bit of defense that ultimately won't help me at all. No enemy can hurt me in any way that matters. Since I effectively have 2 enemies that can, or 2 allies that can revive me. Since I have 2 allies that can revive me, and the rest of my allies learn healing magic, there's nothing that can stop me. If they kill my entire party, whoever is left can revive everyone else. And if you're in the overworld, a dead ally can still use revive synergy. Which I'm not even going to make a joke about how ridiculous that is. Actually, yeah, no, I am. It's like an undead necromancer. Except you're really dead, not undead. I will not be replacing that with a better joke. That is your lot. So here's that sylph feather I meant. The rusty axe, I'm not too certain whether or not that's worth it, but we will have a look when we get a chance to swing by my good friend, the Sunny. I'm sure his name is Sunny. For some reason, I remember when most mimics appear. They're not random. There are set chests in the world that always have mimics in them. And it's the weirdest thing to me that I have knowledge of where these mimics are, but not always. Every now and then there'll be a mimic I missed or a mimic I don't remember, but of all the worthless information, it's remembering which enemies or which chests in Golden Sun: The Lost Age are mimics. Because in Golden Sun: The Lost Age, a mimic is about as likely to kill you, or as likely to kill me anyway, as those rats in the beginning of the game. On the plus side, I at least have no way to get through here. Alright, so I made a minor miscalculation, as I mentioned earlier. I do not yet have the synergy necessary to get past these stones. You only get that after completing Jupiter Lighthouse. So for now, I'm going to use the super as ever helpful retreat, which I remembered to use finally in one of my previous videos, which allows you to just bail out of any dungeon you happen to be faffing around in. I'm going to continue to stick to using no speed in the overworld, and I'm going to continue speeding through the fights. So next step, we're heading down here, the Gondwan Cliff. There's a minor grindstone you can use there, which will essentially get you into the Eastern Sea. It's a bit far away, so I'm speeding right the hell through here. I have no intention of slowly and steadily clawing my way across the ocean when there's no need to do so, because we have the power over time and space. That's correct. I said space as well, because in case you forgot, I have the ability to pause it here, move, and then cut a huge chunk of that video so that I appear somewhere else. So this right here is the grindstone in question. It looks just like the ones you find in Lemuria, and that's supposed to ring in your mind that you're supposed to use it here, if you found it earlier. As a good explorer, you should have found it earlier. But if you're not that good at exploring, or you're not that interested in exploring, there's no point to it. So there are a few points of entry that you can use for your ship, and a few random spots to investigate. That is one of them. There's a hidden gem there. That there is Contigo. That is where you get the wings for your ship, actually, where you get to your Jupiter Lighthouse. That there is Shaman Village. Around here somewhere is Magma Rock, right there. Loho should be about here, or there. Those are the three main spots of plot progression in this section of the game. For now, I'm going to do some light exploration, find a few hidden secrets, whatever I can, and I'll probably continue with the plot once I hit Shaman Village. Shaman Village is the next spot on my list. So once you get the wings, it's actually great. You can fly right over these little bridges. I'm considering going to one of these smaller villages on the side here just to get my health and synergy back up. But I don't think it's necessary. From the looks of it, my people are still fine. Yes. Let's travel totally east now. Investigate this little island on the side. If you don't use a gold code, like I did, to get all the synergy from the previous, all the mana from the previous game. Are they called mana here? No, they're called Jin here. No, I'm thinking of a different game. If you don't use the gold code to get all the Jin from the previous game, like I did, then you can actually get one of each, at 4 random spots around the world. One of them is here. If you investigate this area without all the Jin being available in your game, ooh, Mother Gaia, without using all the codes from the previous game, you can actually find a Jupiter Jin hiding out here. I thought I had mapped Mind Read to my L button. I had not. It's still Cyclone. Yes, I did in fact not learn my lesson the first time. Okay, so he's telling me not to go that way because there's treasure over there. And as usual, people who have treasure don't want to share it. So if I had lift, as I mentioned earlier, lift is the synergy I need to move those big rocks. If I had lift, I could have used it here to find that Jin. But because I used the gold code that has all the Jin, I don't need to do that. I will. I'll come back a bit later and I'll show you what's over there, but it's nothing. There's nothing there. The first time you come through here, you do this tiny puzzle on the side. It gets you a dragon scale, which nets you pretty decent armor. If I'm not mistaken, the dragon crown is the best one in that list. The dragon scale is a forging item that Sunny can use for you. I know it says dragon skin, I'm going to keep calling it dragon scales. Yes, there is a difference between scales and skin. I'm aware of it. With step 1 done, we're heading over to step 2. Let's see. Okay, so I don't have much left to do. Just a little bit of exploration. I'm going to map out the area. Just going to pop my head into Shaman Village, Contigo, the Jupiter Lighthouse, just so we can see what they look like. And I have them on my map for future reference. There aren't actually a lot of places to explore in the Eastern Sea, but it always felt much bigger than the Western Sea to me. Maybe it's because there's a bit more ocean, the massive islands in the middle make me feel a bit better about it, but there's just no comparing the two. Maybe for my last few videos, or at least for the video in the Mars Lighthouse, yeah. I'll completely cut out the fighting. Just puzzles. Puzzles and my melodious voice. So step 1, I'm going to try to see if I can get into Contigo. There should be an opening around here somewhere. Oops. Let's try that again. Yes, so over here, wait, this isn't Contigo. So over here, you'll find, alright, so that right there, that is a little island off the side of Magma Rock. It's got a little bit of exploration, not really much else. Oh, this whole place has nothing on it. Not even a djinn. Ooh, that actually reminds me. I need to open up my djinn map so I can find out exactly where all of these things are. I don't think it will be necessary until after I get the rest of the main party. There are a few djinn that you can only find when you have all the synergy in the game, and you don't get that until after Jupiter Lighthouse. That's when the world really opens up. So this is Magma Rock. You need lift to get past here. I do not have lift, so we're moving on. This is called the Gondwana settlement. I imagine it's implying that the people who settled here are on the continent of Gondwana. This is actually just north of Gibombo, just past the mountains. That's why it kind of looks like they're reusing the exact same layout, if I can put it that way. I replaced Mind Read with Cyclone and I still used the wrong prompt for it. It's unfortunate that the forging materials is one of the main things that the game rewards you with for a lot of dungeons, when most of the forging materials don't actually make better weapons than the ones you find. Next up, Let's go to Contigo. Through that little space there. Loho should be... No, Loho's up here. Yes. Just there. There's nothing there. I thought there was something there. I'm going to get up there. There's going to be nothing there. Not even a djinn. The main reason I don't grind much past this point is there's no need to get any stronger. At this level, I should be perfectly capable of beating the Doom Dragon. This is more or less the level I was when I beat them the first time. They were just much stronger than me. And this is Loho. You don't need to get here also until you learn Lift and such. You kind of go through Magma Rock first. You get a Magma Ball from there. They load the magma ball into that cannon, and they blow up a wall with it. Then they give it to you, they load it onto your ship, and you use it to wreck a ice wall, a glacier. Imagine all these dudes are dwarves. You know, Snow White and the Seven Dwarves type dwarves, with their long beards and their mining. The art style makes it a bit difficult to tell, but I feel like they're dwarves. See right here. There should be a djinn. There should be anything at all. There's nothing. Just a big troll. And I don't mean the cool kind that you fight with sunlight and gentle whispers. See that, buddy? We're going to go find him now using one of my favorite puzzles, the ice sliding puzzle. First try. So the one interesting thing and the one consistent thing about djinn is if you find them in a hostile environment, they will be hostile. But if you find them in a passive environment, they will be passive. You will always have to fight a djinn you find in the overworld. You will always have to fight a djinn you find in a dungeon. Just in case you don't understand, this man explains it to you. What he doesn't explain is that you'll also need a cannon to fire the magma ball from. I feel like that was cheating a bit, because no one tells you need a cannon. So if you didn't find Loho, you're pretty much stuck until you explore the rest of the area. When I was younger, going through this section... Oh, snap. Alright, so what he did there was an assassin attack. That has a chance to instantly kill you, and frankly, it's still a big cheat. Such a rude move. In the first game, you do get a ninja sword that basically does the same thing, but it doesn't work against bosses. They have insta-death resistance. But it'll always work against you. 60% of the time. Sections like this are just busy work. It's not so much a puzzle or confusing or even difficult to traverse. It's just slightly long. In the future, you kind of go up through the bottom here into the lake, and then you pop out at the cave here that I'm at. I went the long way around, but it was the closest way to where I came out from. There are a couple ways through the cave. I should set whirlwind. There we go. But the cave is also full of treasure. So if I come through here with a lift, I can use it to get a djinn. I have to lift the correct stone into the air to block the djinn's escape. That one. By blocking his escape, he can't run away. I know that sounds obvious, but the game likes to play around with the idea that djinn can run away from you. Like the one in Yampi Desert, if he ran away from you, he'd jump to a point where you couldn't reach him. Okay, cool. Now that we're at the Shaman Village, this should be it for my video. I hope this worked out as well as I needed it to. I will be adding audio to this later. I just hope I know what I'm doing when I start editing it.